Everyone, let's take a look at number 1 in section 5.3. It's part of a multi-step activity, so I think questions 1, 2, and 3 are related to that. This might bring back some bad memories, but we're going to simplify this trigonometric expression. It's kind of like, if you remember, verifying trig identities, very similar to that, except we're not quite sure where we're going with it. Basically, in the problem, they have multiple choice for each step that you choose which one is equivalent to this expression, and you just sort of transform this expression and simplify it. First thing I would say with this expression is you have 3 times cosecant x minus 3 cotangent x divided by secant x minus 1. They put the cosecant, they put in parentheses x. Usually we write it without the parentheses, but I think in Achieve you might have to do that when you enter in the expression. I'm going to first start with just the rewriting this in terms of sine and cosine, right? So recall from trigonometry that the cosecant of x, or cosecant of theta here, is 1 over sine theta. It's the reciprocal of sine. Secant is 1 over cosine. Tangent, sine over cosine. Cotangent's cosine over sine. So I'm going to convert everything to sines and cosines, right? So cosecant x is going to be 1 divided by sine of x. Cotangent x is cosine x divided by sine of x. Secant is 1 over cosine of x. So all I did is just simply rewrite those 3 trig functions in terms of sines and cosines. This is then the choice. For me, it was the first choice. It depends on where you are in the list. It may not be the first one, but this was one of the options. So it's just multiple choice. So you click 1, this one here. Now, what can we do from here? Well, notice, first of all, up top, we've got this common factor of 3, so I can factor that out. And then what's left, notice the 2 fractions, we're subtracting them, right? They have a common denominator, so I can just subtract. What is it going to be? 1 minus cosine of x over sine of x. And in the bottom, I can do the same thing. I need a common denominator. Well, remember, 1 can be written as cosine x over cosine x. And so our common denominator of cosine x allows me to write this as 1 minus cosine of x over cosine of x. Okay. And I think this is, again, one of the choices in the next sequence of multiple choice steps. Which one is equivalent to the original expression? Well, this one is. Okay. And now I'm going to divide, right, this fraction up in the numerator by this fraction. Remember, that's the equivalent of taking that fraction in the numerator and multiplying it by the reciprocal. So I multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator, right? This is just the reciprocal of the denominator. And then notice the 1 minus cosine of x factors cancel, right? You can divide numerator and denominator by 1 minus cosine of x, leaving just cosine of x divided by sine of x. Well, if you remember, that's cotangent x. And so the whole thing becomes just 3 times cotangent x. That's the last choice. Then you choose that in the multiple choice. So hopefully this brings back hopefully some not too bad memories. But this is just simplifying trig expressions. It is important in calculus because sometimes if I'm asking you to integrate this, find the antiderivative of this, oh my goodness, that's pretty complicated. But if I simplify it, now it's just find the antiderivative of this. So this is much simpler than the original expression, but they are equivalent, and so we get the same result in a much easier way, hopefully. Okay, I hope this is helpful.